The morning is soft and ordinary. That is the thing about the moments that change everything, they almost never announce themselves. They do not arrive with dramatic weather or swelling music or any of the other signals that stories use to tell you something important is coming. They arrive in the middle of breakfast. On a veranda. With akra cooling on a plate and akamu steaming in a bowl and the particular morning quiet of a compound that has not yet fully woken up. Dabareki has added too much milk to the pap again. The whole thing looks like melted ice cream, thick and pale and slightly ridiculous. Ahana takes a full spoon of it into his mouth, decides not to say anything about the milk, and looks at his mother across the small table. She is eating. Or pretending to eat, the way she sometimes does when something is on her mind, moving the food around without actually consuming it, her eyes slightly unfocused, somewhere else entirely. "Mom." Ahana called. "Yes." Dabareki answered. Mouthful. Distracted. "I'm really sorry about yesterday. I didn't mean to cause any trouble." Ahana said. "It's fine. Eat up. You're already late for school." Dabareki said. They eat in silence for a moment. The compound sounds filter in, a neighbor's radio, the distant call of a hawker on the street outside, a bird doing something urgent in the mango tree at the far end of the yard. Ordinary sounds. Ordinary morning. Ahana sets his spoon down. "Mom," Ahana called again. "Yes, what is it?" Dabareki asked. It was not a question. The slightly impatient tone of a mother who has already answered this name twice and is anticipating a third request for something small and unnecessary. "I'd like to know who my father is," Ahana said. The spoon stops moving. For a fraction of a second, less than a second, barely long enough to measure, Dabareki's whole body does the thing that bodies do when they hear something they were not prepared for, even though they have been preparing for it for years. A flinch that is not a flinch. A stillness that is not calm. She does not choke on the pap. She comes very close. "Why?" Dabareki asked. "Why not?" Ahana asked. From the doorway behind them, Mama G appears with her morning wrapper tied at her chest and a cup of tea in her hand. She looks at Dabareki. Dabareki looks at the table. The look that passes between the two women contains an entire conversation, Mama G's eyes saying I told you this day was coming, I told you a boy becomes a man and a man needs to know where he comes from, and Dabareki's eyes saying nothing, because Dabareki's eyes are firmly on the table and intend to stay there. "Eat your food. You're late for school," Dabareki said. "I don't want to go to school today," Ahana replied. "Ahana!" Dabareki yelled. "I want to know about my father," Ahana repeated. "I said eat your," Dabareki was still speaking when Ahana interrupted her. "Mom." His voice is quiet. Not raised. Not aggressive. The particular quietness of someone who has decided that today is the day and no amount of deflection is going to change that. "I am not a child anymore. I know that something happened. I know that there is a story. I am not asking you to relive anything painful. I am asking you to tell me who I come from. That is all. Just, who am I?" Ahana asked. The veranda goes very still. Mama G sits down slowly in the third chair, setting her tea on the table with a care that suggests she intends to be here for a while. She does not say anything. She does not need to say anything. Her presence alone is a kind of pressure, the accumulated weight of years of I told you so, now activated not with triumph but with the quiet insistence of a woman who loves her family enough to force the difficult conversations even when everyone would prefer to keep avoiding them. Dabareki looks at her son. He looks back. He has her eyes, that is the first thing anyone notices about Ahana when they meet him. Dabareki's eyes, direct and warm and right now very serious. But there is something else in his face too. Something she has been seeing for years without letting herself fully acknowledge it. A quality in the set of his jaw, in the particular stillness of him when he has decided something, in the way his mind moves, quick and lateral and always slightly ahead of the conversation. That is not her. That is Zimuzor. Dabareki sets her spoon down. Folds her hands on the table. Takes a breath that is longer than a normal breath, the kind that is also a decision. His name is Zimuzor Anyanwu. He is, from Enugu. We met at Bauchi State Polytechnic. He was studying history. I was studying literature. Dabareki began. Ahana is very still. Listening with his whole body. He was brilliant. The kind of brilliant that made everyone around him feel like they were thinking faster just by being near him. He asked questions that nobody else in any room was willing to ask. He saw things, patterns, connections, injustices, that other people walked past every day without noticing. And he could not walk past them. That was Zimuzor. He could not look at something wrong and keep walking. Dabareki added. What happened? Ahana asked. No one knows. She pauses. He was never the same after that book. I could see him changing, pulling away, going somewhere inside himself that I couldn't follow. And then one day he was gone. Ahana, that doesn't make any sense. Silence. Did he ever know? About me? Ahana asked. His number went off. By the time I knew, by the time I understood what I was carrying, I had no way to reach him. His number was off. I didn't know his people. I didn't know where in Enugu his mother lived. I had nothing. Dabareki answered. Another silence. Longer this time. Ahana looks out at the compound. At the mango tree, at the red earth, at the ordinary morning, continuing completely indifferently around the most significant conversation of his life. A lizard bobs its head on the compound wall. The radio next door plays something upbeat and completely inappropriate. Ahana absorbs this. Slowly. The way a dry earth absorbs water after a long drought, taking it in fully, letting it reach every part. Do you hate him? Ahana asked. Dabareki looks at her son for a long time before answering. And when she answers, the honesty of it costs her something visible. I spent a long time trying to. It would have been easier. Hating someone gives you somewhere to put the pain. But I couldn't hold it. Because the truth is, the thing that made him leave was the same thing that made me love him. You cannot love a fire and then be angry that it burns. Dabareki said. Ahana nods slowly. He goes to his room after breakfast. Sits on the edge of his bed. Looks at his hands, his mother's skin tone, but the shape of them unfamiliar, belonging to someone he has never met. He thinks about a young man reading a book by candlelight in a hostel room. Thinks about a morning bus to Enugu. Thinks about a mission so large it swallowed a relationship, a pregnancy, an entire life that could have been lived differently. He does not feel the anger he expected to feel. He feels something stranger and more complicated than anger. He feels recognition. Because he knows that fire. He has felt it in himself, in Lagos, in the studio, in the music that comes out of him when he stops thinking and just sings. That reaching towards something feeling. That refusal to settle for a smaller version of what he knows is possible. That hunger that does not respond to logic or timing or the feelings of the people who love you. He has his mother's eyes. But he has his father's fire. And sitting alone in his room with the weight of the whole story pressing down on him and filling him up at the same time, Ahana arrives at the thought quietly, without drama, the way the most important thoughts tend to arrive. His father did not abandon him. His father abandoned himself, to something bigger than both of them. To a mission that started with a war fought before either of them were born. To a prophecy spoken under a tree by an old man whose name he never knew. To the particular madness of a person who reads the truth and cannot unknow it. He did not abandon his son. He abandoned himself. And somewhere in the world right now, In a city a Hannah has never been to, in a life a Hannah has never seen, Zimuzor Anyanwu is still burning. Still moving. Still reaching toward something. And a Hannah, sitting on the edge of his bed in Enugu with his mother's pap sitting unfinished on the veranda table and his father's fire sitting undeniable in his chest, makes a quiet, private, completely unannounced decision. He wants to find him. If this episode moved something in you, if a Hannah's realization landed somewhere real, drop it in the comments below. Tell us about the moment you understood your parents as people rather than just parents. Subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss episode 15, where Zimuzor returns to Nigeria after 15 years away, and comes face to face with everything he left behind. Share this episode with someone who is carrying a question they have not yet found the courage to ask. Like this video and help this story reach the people who need it most. We will see you in episode 15.